But that was when Georgia had a big lead, and now we are tied up at 25 all, and she's back in the post.
Travis.
Lead that.
Please bow with me. Heavenly Father, we pray that you will be over this meeting this evening, help us to make wise decisions, helping to make Cabot the community that it can be, that we want it to be. Please forgive me of my sins. Go with us as we leave this place tonight and go out to do your work. I ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Brandon? Thanks, everyone. Tammy, roll call, please.
Long. Jones.
Here.
Red.
Here.
Hillenberg.
Here.
Cope.
Here.
Reed. Weber.
Here.
Waymack.
Okay, we have one missing tonight. Next item, approval of minutes from the last meeting. Any action? I got a motion from Ed, a second from James to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Reed. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 7-0. Next item is to read resolutions and ordinances by title only.
Make a motion to read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
I second that.
I got a motion from Matt, a second from Michael, to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Reed. Weber.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next item is City Council old business. We have two items here tonight for that. First one is ordinance number 41 of 2020.
Number 41 of 2020, an ordinance to rezone 801 and 904 Eagle Street, City of Cabot, Lonoke County, Arkansas, from R-1 to R-4M, amending the land use plan, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. Third reading.
Okay, councilmen and women. I talked to the applicant, and he wants to downgrade from R4M to R2S. And he brought a drawing tonight to show people that I think it was going to be apartments, maybe 50 of them, and he's reduced it to 20 houses in this area. So I don't know if we want to put any action yet or let them come first and discuss. I think I would rather be for that. It's if the council so agrees. And then our options would be to, if we're in agreement, to vote to amend the ordinance to make it an R2S, or leave it as is and the vote for the current ordinance. And if the current ordinance fails, then if he still wanted R2S, he'd still have to start the whole process over again with the Planning Commission, is the way I understand it. Ben, is that true?
Yes, sir, that's what I understand.
Okay. Are y'all okay with just doing discussion first? Because I know this was a big item for the people of Cabot. Sam, can you come up first and let us know what your new plans are, and if you could show the council kind of what you're looking at now? Also have Chad Young with the Planning Commission on the line, and then Laura with our Public Works Department Director. She'll be here as well to answer questions.
I guess this is working. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm Sam Emmerling. This is Scotty Howard. This is my business partner. It's R4S, sir, is what we're looking to reduce to. Isn't that correct? Was it R2 or R4? R2S, that'd give me what I needed, right? Okay, I'll stand corrected. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I have a drawing right here. After the last city council meeting, We listened to what the people's concerns were about having too many people in that area, all the different people that had their different concerns. So I took that back, we discussed it, and we came with a different proposal, which would be a lower level rating. And it's single-family homes, no rentals, 20 houses. That's what we're requesting, which I would hope there wouldn't be any objections there. That's alleviating all the rental issues and a lot of the traffic concern that they had.
Do you have a drawing you could share
Yes,
with
sir.
the council?
Sure do,
Let
right here.
them see if, can you, please? So I can pass it down and let everybody see what you're proposing. Here's what it looks like, Chad.
Chad's seen it.
Oh, Chad's seen it? Okay. And this is the type of house? And you're going to have these for sale, you said, to sell them, or?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. Here you go. If you pass it down that way, and then we'll pass it back up and let the other council members see it. Any other things you'd like to add to this, Sam? This proposal, or, because I'm going to have people speak against it next, or for first and then against. So I want you
Sure.
to start off so they can see that there's a new plan
No problem
and what
at
you're
all.
wanting.
Sure. The issues that were addressed the last time, we had people from, we had 4 people here the last time. A lot of them's concern was traffic. None of the 4 people, I've got a map right here of the area. None of the
Yes, sir.
4 people were from the area where the houses, tenants would be exiting, which would be on Eagle. So I don't, unless there's some new people here that are on Eagle Street. And I think reducing to what we've done would eliminate any of those issues. Plus the traffic within the area, you know, we've tried to downsize everything within reason to make it more pleasing to the people in the neighborhood around.
Okay. Laura, could you let us know what more, or maybe this is Chad, do we have to go back and do re-drainage issues and all that stuff, or does that come in the next part? The site plan, okay. I just want to make sure. Chad, would you like to add anything, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
He's on here.
Yeah, this will be primarily rezoning. We'll take care of looking at drainage and relationships of, layouts at the next site plan. But if he's proposing to go down to the R2, that's a much more compatible use with the northern neighborhood. But anyways, I'll let him talk about his plans more. But
Tammy.
Yeah, my understanding was everyone that's reached out to me, and I know people have reached out to other council members as well, is I've always told them that you're going to switch it to houses, and everyone seems conducive to that. But they wanted to see a drawing, of course, but, I didn't have one at the time to give them. Tonight's the first time I've seen one, but that's really what people did, want apartments back there and all the extra traffic and everything.
Mayor, if I could make a suggestion?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I would suggest that the petitioner on his own motion withdraw this and have it resubmitted and take it back through the planning commission. If we vote on this,
Can we hear it tomorrow, Chad? You're on mute, buddy.
yeah, I think maybe Ben could tell us we'd have to probably suspend the rules to get it on the agenda without the advertising that's normally part of the process. Can Ben advise us on that?
So the issue is that the notice requirements are locked in under state statute. This cannot be waived. So it cannot be done tomorrow. It can be done at the next planning commission meeting. But the notice requirements unfortunately can't be waived if those are part of the state statute.
Even if they go down a class? Okay, I didn't know.
Right.
Okay.
If they're conducting a public hearing on the matter, then notice has to.
Okay. Well, we do have 2 council meetings a month now in 2021, so as soon as it's done, you have a council meeting right after that. That's why I was trying to get you in tomorrow, which we have one on February 1st.
Well, we're confused. What does it mean? Does it mean we need to restart the whole process?
Well, Chad, would you explain to them what exactly it means from your end if we send it back to planning?
Yeah, so it is a rezoning, so it would have to go back in front of the planning commissioners and be voted on to rezone it. But then right after that, it could go immediately back to council for approval from that standpoint.
Would that eliminate us having to have 3 readings? Or would I have to have 3 readings again?
You would still, it's an ordinance, so you still have to have 3 readings, whether council determine it's okay to waive those or not. But yes, sir, by law, you have to have 3 readings or waive them.
Sure. Could we hear if there's any objections to us changing this? Maybe that would bring light to the committee here.
Sure, I was going to do that, but I respectfully listened to my President Pro
Sure,
Tem.
no, I understand.
Let's go. Is there anyone still for this in the audience? Anyone against this in the audience? Looks like no one's trying to come up.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
You may have said it earlier and I missed it. Approximately what square footage of homes are these going to be?
I didn't mention it, but I'll be happy to. We're looking at 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1,500 square foot houses.
It's 1,500.
Yes, sir.
And when was your time frame for breaking ground?
Well, with all due respect, we understand that it takes processes, but we've purchased this months ago, and the longer we sit on it, the longer, I mean, we get it, it hurts us. So the faster we could get started, the better. We do plan to break ground soon after we go through the due process. So with all due respect, it would help us out tremendously. We were under the impression that this could be done tonight if we followed with what everyone wanted us to do. And so that's why we did what we did.
Of course, I respect that for you listening to your neighbors and trying to be a good neighbor. Not many people would do what y'all have done so far, but I commend y'all for that. It's at the purview of the council, whether whatever action is done. Is there any more discussion of the council before any action is taken? Seeing none, any action?
Actually, can we go back to the discussion?
Okay, you can.
Awesome. Okay.
Go ahead.
I really wasn't sure like how to start what I was going to say. That's why it took me a second. So I apologize for that, making us backtrack. But yes, this could possibly be done this evening. However, given that this is such a contentious issue, even though there appears to be no one here to speak, doesn't mean that there aren't people that are against. And I personally have more questions, specifically when it comes to drainage. I heard there was some discussion about it, drainage plan to be included as part of a site plan, correct? Or site, whatever, Laura? Okay. I would be more inclined to vote for this if I could see a plan to address drainage first. If I could have that information to see what your plan is. Because that is a big issue. It's a big issue all over town. The neighborhood you're wanting to build in is a very old neighborhood, one of the first built in this town. And they've already got issues run amok in neighborhoods just like it. So that's not a new issue. And it's a serious one that's been longstanding, the issue of drainage in older neighborhoods in this town. So I would be more inclined, as I said, to vote for this if you could show me what your plan for drainage is. I don't know if that's possible to do. First, maybe someone here can educate me on that, educate the rest of the public on that, but I'm just letting you know, that's, for this councilman, that's going to be a big issue. And I'm also concerned with the fact that the streets have not been maintained, and they are so worn down. And traffic, even though there's going to be less traffic compared to the plan you had before, I'm still concerned about that issue. But I'm more concerned about, and maybe the chief, both of them can speak on this maybe if they want to, but I'm concerned about emergency vehicles getting down those streets. I'm concerned about emergency vehicles getting down my street where I live, because it's also an older neighborhood in town, comparable to the one y'all are wanting to build in. That's another issue that's long-standing in these neighborhoods. I'm concerned about emergency vehicles getting down there, you know. So I know that's something that we can work out, you know, but it's, let's say drainage, I'd like to see something.
Okay, Chad, can you do the site plan and the rezone at the same time?
No, we typically do not. Mr. Mayor, we typically review the drainage with the site plan proposal just because it's not engineered. I mean, we're at a rezoning standpoint, which is not where we typically are tackling the details of the site. We're just looking at compatibility of land use zones and adjacent to other existing zones. So we're looking at drainage at a much later, more developed date than right now. So we can't get into drainage other than knowing that there's a ditch that runs through that property and it runs, you know, right through the middle of it. We know that's where the water goes, and it is moving through that from north to south. So we know that is going to be something that will be addressed. I know that they are dealing with an engineer and talking to an engineer to help them navigate their drainage calcs. So haven't seen what the results of those things are, but these are all issues that we definitely dive into in the site plan review. Vehicles and streets and emergency vehicle access. We also look at it site plan review.
Okay, I agree. But I guess my question is if you had that site plan, assuming R2S would be approved by the Planning Commission, can you look at it in that manner?
No, yes, we can look at it in the same meeting. Yes, sir. We can do a site plan. I believe so. Ben, there's not anything that keeps us from stacking those on top of each other, is there? Or Laura?
No, there's not.
Yeah, we can definitely review those in the same meeting.
I was just trying to speed up time for them, so they're not completely behind if everything works out.
And I want to make clear that, like, I'm also not trying to waste y'all's time either, you know, because I understand that the process that it does not play out the way that I suggested, and that would probably take some juggling and whatnot. I don't want to waste y'all's time, but at the same time, I don't want to vote for a rezone and then put y'all under the impression that y'all got it, you're done here, and then, oh no, we go to vote for whatever comes next, and we're like, oh no, we just saw the site plan, we don't like that. So, oh no, now you're back to the beginning. You see what I'm saying? I don't want us to get to the next stage and then reject your plan and then be like, oh no.
Yes, sir. Well, we have done our homework. We have met with engineers. We do have the sketch of the utilities that's in that property now. And the engineer said there's no problem doing what we're going to do for these 20 houses. And so, yes, we have already crossed those bridges. Is it drawn out yet? No, because we haven't had utilities to put in, but we did do our due process to verify that before we ever stepped into the 20 lots.
Michael, this is the one and only time that this council will vote on this. We only vote for rezone.
Okay.
Everything else is handled at staff and planning commission level.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons that I was suggesting that it be pulled and sent back to planning commission for public hearings and the whole 9 yards on that. I understand their predicament, I really do, but I also understand ours and the public predicament as well.
So for housekeeping purposes, Ben, I think I know the answer to this. So if no one was to vote on this tonight, can it come back again, or is it dead? Since we just had the third reading.
Unless it is tabled, it can be tabled after third reading, but if it's just plain not voted on, then it would die.
Okay, so if we tabled it, we'd already have the 3 readings out. Then he could go down in zoning after planning commission looked at it.
Well, it'll have to be tabled after we amend it. At that point, it has to be tabled, but table for the third reading after or this is the third reading, so we'd have to amend it, Mayor.
Okay.
And then it'd have to be tabled after the amendment, and then you're going to run all of that back through. I just think it's going to be too cumbersome. The ideal thing on this was whenever they decided to change it, if they would have withdrawn it off of the agenda at that point, it would have been a dead issue, and they could have probably got it in front of the Planning Commission this month. But that didn't happen, so here we are.
But, oh, I'm sorry.
The reason why we didn't do that is because there was nobody at the Planning Commission that said anything. There wasn't anybody at the first reading that said anything, and then they came at the second reading was the first time any objections were brought up, at which time then I went to addressing the issues. There was already 2 other times that nobody had anything to say. Another thought that I have, I'm just curious, it is R1 rated over there. So without doing anything, could we not start building houses right now? So, I mean, we could just say, go on and start building houses, but, we're trying to do things. I mean, I think we've been extremely flexible trying to hear what the people in the community wanted. And that's why we did the methodology we did, is because of that reason.
Yes, sir, and I, for one, will thank you and tell you I appreciate you doing and respecting the process. We really do. And unfortunately, though, with the process, we find ourselves sometimes having to backtrack and come back. And so, Ed, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that we could send this back to the Planning Commission for them to hear it again. And at that same meeting, we could also review the site plan. The same meeting where we vote on, at the Planning Commission, where they vote on the rezone, they could also see the site plan too.
Well, that's out of the ordinary for the Planning Commission to do it that way, but Chad said he would be willing to look at it that way. It would actually be out of the way they do things, but Chad has offered to do that, which would help that as well. If we amend this and vote on it, it's a done deal. If we amend this and table it, then I'm not real sure what takes place there, because it's already been through the Planning Commission. We've already read it 3 times and tabled it. All it's waiting on is passage. So there you go.
So Mayor, just let me get this correct. So I noticed that it was filed in November, and if they have to go back to the Planning Commission, then it could be another 3 or 4 months before they get started.
It could be they wouldn't meet until the end of February, and they could come to our March meeting, and if we waived all 3 readings, they could start after the March 5th, 6th meeting, whatever that date is, the first Monday in March.
After this, we go to banks and all the other things. Is another few months.
Is the way that we do business here. We're having 2 meetings now a month, which could conceivably, even with 3 readings, cut you down a month on the reading part of it. We can waive readings on rezones, can't we, Ben?
Yes, sir, you can't do that now.
Yeah, just not on annexations. So, I mean, we could waive the readings, or at least one of them, and get you cleared the month after you go through the Planning Commission, because the Planning Commission will do the public hearings and all of that. I'm sorry. And I understand the inconvenience. I understand that it's an absolute cluster. I understand that. But I also understand what our job is too.
Oh, and I appreciate that. I mean,
I think we're only talking a couple houses. Like, we can start tomorrow at 17, 18, I think, or it's just 3 more.
Unless you do, only if you do it as R1.
Right.
If you're going to do it as R3 or whatever you're asking for the zone to be, the answer to that is no.
Correct.
That's a rezone.
So we're talking about 3 houses, I think. I think we can start tomorrow with 17.
So you're going to divide that over there then and have, you're asking for problems.
It's R1.
Absolutely. So you're going to build 2 at R1 and then come back and build a remainder at another zoning?
No.
No, that's not. I believe what Scott was trying to say was this. We want to do whatever process that y'all deem necessary. He was just throwing out a hypothetical. If construction was started and we're still going through this process, getting it rezoned, that would give them the additional houses. Is that kind of what you were thinking? We still want to do
Right,
everything by
that'll
the
give
book.
you the additional density that you want over there.
Yes, sir.
If you keep it as R1, all you got to do at that point is get your site plan and take it before the planning commission. It's already R1. You don't have to mess with us.
Correct.
Because it's already there. You withdraw this, your R1 is still in place. You have not monkeyed with it at all. You'll get your site plan, go to planning commission. At that point, it becomes their problem.
The only thing is the R1 has a different width lot. We don't want that.
Sorry, Chad.
What's that?
Ed's over here giving planning commission advice, which
I said,
Yeah.
I think you're doing a fine
I
job,
was
but-
sorry for that last comment, Chad.
I didn't hear it. It's okay, Ed.
Good.
So
I'm
what
glad-
I hear though is
I'm
it's already
glad.
zoned R1. And so if we're going to, what's the real reason to go R2 other than set the side yard setback requirements change and the size of house, minimum lot size changes?
Yeah, probably they want those lot size smaller so they can fit more houses.
That's it.
Well, there's a minimum lot size. There's not a maximum lot size. Minimum 7,500 for the R1 and 6,000 for R2S.
Yeah. So you lose 1,500 square feet.
Yeah, that's right, it's just a couple of houses difference, that's all it is.
Any thoughts on that, Chad?
No, up to you guys. They want to bring it back to the planning commission, or we'll certainly try to expedite it through.
My issue is this. I don't want the council to defeat this ordinance, and you go starting all over with a defeated ordinance, is what I'm trying to prevent. That's just a black mark all the way. And if you're going to do this and pull it back and go as R1, it's a whole lot cleaner and easier for y'all. If not, it's cleaner and easier for y'all to make a new petition and start all over, in my humble opinion.
You got the most gray hairs in the room, so, you know, I try not to.
I've had them since I was 5 years old, so that doesn't mean anything.
I try not to cause too much ruckus. You can tell by the way we've changed the whole plan just to appease the people in the neighborhoods. I want good neighbors, and I want to be a good neighbor.
I absolutely
So,
hate that.
sure. Sure. Sure.
Decision is, or do you want to change the zoning and do 3 houses more? It's up to you.
Change the zoning, do the 3 more houses.
It makes sense on paper.
Then I would respectfully ask you to withdraw this on your own motion and start over.
If we withdraw, will you guys be able to waive one of the readings for us?
I can't make any promises. I will promise you that I'll make a motion for that to happen.
That's all we can ask for, I guess.
We'll withdraw.
I guess we can withdraw.
Okay.
Mayor, on the
you,
petitioner's
gentlemen.
own motion, I make a motion that we permanently withdraw ordinance 41 of 2020.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second to permanently withdraw ordinance 41 of 2020. Any further discussion? Let the record show Ron Moymack walked in at 6:46. Roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed, Weber,
Yes.
Waymack, Long,
Yes, ma'am.
Passes 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll expedite everything we can for you. The next item is resolution number 26 of 2020. Please, Tammy.
Resolution 26 of 2020, A resolution declaring the structure located at 1100 West Elm Street in the city of Cabot to constitute a public nuisance and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for the property owners to abate said nuisance and for other purposes.
Okay, any action, council?
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment before we do any action, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Understand that this does not mean that we'll have bulldozers over there and more and tearing it down. Will have a period of time to abate our concerns on that, and if they want to fix it, that's great. If not, then we will move in after that time frame expires. Also, this is a long-standing issue before the city council. Last city council handled it, worked on it. It was tabled, I believe, in June. I could be wrong, but pretty close to there. So this has been in constant negotiation between planning and the mayor's office ever since then. And unfortunately, in my opinion, there has been no resolution to this.
Okay, Ed, any action so we can discuss?
I think we've been more than patient on this. We've held on hope that they would make some sort of move on this, whether the entire property or piecing it out. And to me, I mean, I'm not going to slander anyone, but it just seems like they're dragging their feet. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve this resolution.
I'll second.
I got a motion to second approve number 26 of 2020. I'm going to open it up now for discussion. Anyone here for or against?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Sorry, this is Mike Rozier with Kroger. I believe we spoke last summer.
Okay.
Seems like an eternity ago. You know, I guess I'm here to speak in, well, to not condemn the building. You know, we have worked recently with Stubby Stumbaugh and with the city to not only get that building cleaned up, it is now secured. It was used to assist the city and the residents in kind of getting their new trash can vendor and getting that those bins out to the city. And at this point, you know, we do feel that it's frankly in a much better condition than it was in the summer. And we are actively, again, looking to sell it. If you recall, we bought these pieces in at least 3 separate transactions. And I believe we all know the history of the groundbreaking that occurred and then was stopped along with many other projects across the country. So, you know, we are in active discussions to sell it. It is not under contract as of right now. There is a gap in price. And again, we are trying to sell it all in one piece to, let's call it, ease the burden on the resources we have at Kroger, rather than do 3 or 4 different pieces at once.
Okay, anyone have questions for Mike Rozier? Council?
I don't mean to put Mr. Stumbaugh on the spot, but Mr. Mike, you said we cleaned up that building?
Nope. Our tenant, Mr. Stumbaugh, and the trash company.
So you had no part in cleaning that up?
No, they did. That
Thank
was
you.
part of the deal.
Laura, could you come up and share your timeline with the council? I know we have 4 new council members, and they weren't here in July when this last was discussed.
Okay, if y'all will bear with me, this timeline is kind of lengthy. I went through today, went through all the emails that I have personally had contact with anybody at Kroger, whether it was myself personally or someone within my office. The timeline starts back from May 1st of last year. when the first letter to Kroger was sent out for their first structural violation. May 5th, Mr. Dennis Cobb corresponded via phone call and emails to our Code Compliance Inspector, Tommy Dixon. Mr. Dixon explained to Mr. Cobb the severity of the building. Mr. Cobb emailed Mr. Dixon asking him to send information on what is required to bring the building up to code. On May 7th, Mr. Dixon emailed Mr. Cobb the case, which included pictures of the building. Mr. Cobb responded and thanked Mr. Dixon for sending the information, and Mr. Cobb would reach out and get some prices. May 26th of last year, case was noted that our office hadn't heard anything from anyone, from Kroger's office since May 7th. May 28th of last year, the Cabot Police Department was called to the location and found a door had been forced open. Mr. Dixon went to the property, took more pictures of the interior and exterior, and secured the doors. June 3rd of 2020, email was sent out to the current Municipal Service Committee members to review whether to proceed with condemnation of the property. All members at that time had agreed to proceed with the condemnation. June 27th and July 4th of last year, the property was advertised in the local paper per condemnation process procedures. June 30th of last year, a certified letter was mailed to Kroger to notify them of the City Council to be having a public hearing on July 20th of last year to hear a proposed condemnation action on the property. July 6th of last year, Mr. Michael Roser with Kroger contacted myself and stated that he had two potential buyers but didn't know if they wanted the structure or just the land. I advised him that he had until July 20th, but that I couldn't guarantee that the process wouldn't continue. He stated he would keep me up to date. June 6th, the same day, the certified letter to Kroger was signed. June 6th, the same day, City Council work session meeting. The Municipal Services Committee voted to send the condemnation to the full council for the meeting on July 20th. July 20th, City Council meeting, Mr. Roser attended via the Zoom call, as he is this evening. He advised the council that he still had potential buyers for the property. The council listened to Mr. Roser and advised him to keep myself updated on the progress of the potential buyers. The council voted to table the condemnation resolution until the August meeting. July 30th, I reached out to Mr. Roser via email and asked if there had been any changes since the July 20th City Council meeting. I received no response. August 17th of 2020, I received a letter of intent from a potential buyer confirming interest in purchasing the property. The letter stated it was good for 30 days. August 25th, I reached out to Mr. Roser again via email asking if there were any changes or if a contract had been signed so that I could give an update to the council. To the council. Mr. Roser responded that he would forward my note to the broker who was handling the negotiation with the buyer and owes him an update. August 26th, I reached out to Mr. Roser again via email for an update. He responded that there are ongoing verbal discussions. The buyer is currently more concerned about the incoming hurricane and associated rain flooding, hopefully can move this along and the hurricane's not that bad. October 19th of 2020, WCA, which everyone knows is our new waste collection company, called me to inquire if the city would be okay with them renting the building to house the new trash and recycle carts that would be distributed to the Cabot residents in December. I informed WCA that I would contact Mr. Roser to see if they would be interested in this option. Mr. Roser stated that it would be an option. I contacted WCA and informed them of Mr. Roser's statement and gave WCA Mr. Roser's contact information. November 19th of 2020, the mayor asked for Mr. Roser's contact information. The mayor spoke with Mr. Roser about WCA renting the building. Mr. Roser stated that they were supposed to finalize the transaction between WCA and Kroger either on November 20th or November 23rd. WCA rented the building from December 1 of 2020 to January 4th of 2021. January 6th, 2021, Mayor emailed Mr. Roser asking where the sale on the building stands and that the council is wanting a resolution and they're ready to act. January 13th, 2021, I mailed a certified letter notifying Kroger of a public hearing to be held by the Cabot City Council on January 25th, 2021 to hear proposed condemnation action on the property. January 13th of 2021, the mayor never received a response from Mr. Roser from the January 6th email. An interested buyer of a portion of the property owned by Kroger reached out to the mayor, very frustrated with Kroger. The mayor sent Mr. Roser an email stating that since there hadn't been any communication from him, that he will proceed with condemning the building. Amy Williams stated in an email to the mayor that Kim with Kroger has stated that they intend to sell all the property together to maximize the value. January 14th of 2021, Mr. Roser finally responded to the mayor's email from January 6th. Mr. Roser stated that they had an LOI to sell the former Dollar General, former Crown Meadow building, and the 2 lots north of the Crown Meadow building. There would be a 90-day inspection period and a closing within 30 days of inspection. January 14th of 2021, the mayor responded to Mr. Roser and asked him to send a copy of the LOI with a confidentiality agreement to confirm the information. January 19th of 2021, the certified letter I mailed on January 13th of 2021 was signed for. As of today, the mayor nor I or my office has received any further communication with Kroger until this meeting tonight.
Thank you, Laura. That kind of brings up the new council members, what's going on, and the current for the last month or so.
So, I'm confused. Is there a buyer or not? No. There's not a buyer for this building currently. We don't know. Okay. But the gentleman who's here tonight, Mr. Roser, if that's how I'm pronouncing your name right, could you provide us with an update on that perhaps?
Sure. I have a contract that I'll have to send to my attorney for the purchase of the property. Again, we've been haggling over price. It certainly isn't going our way, and it certainly likely won't, depending on the outcome of this meeting. But I think at this point, it's more or less time to pull the trigger on this one. So the LOI actually you're asking for here, Mr. Mayor, do you want me to email that to you right now?
Yeah, send it to me.
No. I do apologize for not getting back to your January 6th email until about a week later. Your email, sir, is kenkincaid@cabotar.gov.
I got my phone right here. So can I share this with the council? Because I asked for confidentiality just to assure them, but I can't sign it.
At this point, I don't think I have the time to get you one. And I would ask that you redact the name of the opposite party and the purchase price for this meeting.
Noted. Still waiting.
This has cleared my outbox, so
Could you tell me how you spelled my name?
may make sure. Ken, KINCADE @cabotar.gov.
Okay. That should be it. Well, we definitely need that broadband bill to pass.
If not, my basement might be holding up the level below the router.
Go ahead and try Ken at cabotar.gov. Both
Okay.
emails get to me.
Ken at cabot.ar.gov.
May I ask for a clarification?
Sure, go ahead, Matt.
So it was stated earlier, and I don't know if I grasped it correctly, even if we pass this resolution this evening, if Kroger ends up having some sale occur, this condemnation of the building would be averted?
The new owner would have to agree to the terms of bringing the building up to code, or it would be a, brazen. Is that right, Ben?
Matt, what it boils down to, if we pass this resolution tonight, that building's condemned. What we will not do is move in for immediate disposal of it. There is a waiting period for that. Kroger actually will have a waiting period to bring it up to clear the issues after the condemnation. Now, it's my understanding from what I just heard him say, that upon signing of the offer and acceptance, which has not been done, there's another 120 days in there. There's a 90-day inspection with another 30-day closing. So we're, when and if they get the offer and acceptance signed, it's still another 120 days after that before we know whether or not it's going to sell.
And I would agree with that.
So basically, we're being asked to wait again.
And we don't know how long, because offer and acceptance has not been signed. It's still in the attorney's office, is what I understood.
Yeah, it's just a letter of intent.
And again, Mayor, you're dead on with that. Is a letter of intent. It's a framework of a deal. It is not a deal. And I thank you for the amount of time that was given to me in July. And for a myriad of reasons, we are not sold at this point. And the town is in full authority to do with it as it feels best for what's best for the town.
Yeah, I still haven't got your email. I don't know what.
How many letters of intent have we already had so far on this? Just curious.
I've had about 4 to 5. Some for portions, some for everything.
Oh, I just got something. Look at there. 5 minutes. Is this for the full property or just the building?
This is for the full property.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know what you've been offered for several pieces, and you've been offered more than that for several pieces.
Yeah, we've had a fair offer for a piece, and then trying to put a value on the rest.
Okay, so I assume this one's not going to work anyway, unless they come up on price. Correct?
In the scheme of negotiations, I probably shouldn't answer that.
Oh, of course. Laura, do you have something else? Basically, council, is just a letter of intent that a holding company wants all the property for a certain dollar amount. Like the Dollar General, the 7 acres, the Crown Building, all of it, right?
The Crown Building, the Dollar General, and the land to the east of the Dollar General, yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Laura.
Matt, to answer your question, yes, if this resolution is passed this evening, they do have 30 days to either abate the property or bring it up to code and sense. If they can sell it or have a sale on it, however, they have to have a signed agreement. The owner that is buying it, here's where it says, the transfer of ownership. After receiving a notice of condemnation, it shall be unlawful for the owner of any structure to sell, transfer, mortgage, lease, or otherwise alienate or dispose of the same until A, the property or structure has been caused to conform to the code, or the owner shall provide the other property a true copy of any notice of violation issued by the mayor or this council, and shall furnish the mayor and this council a signed and notarized statement from the other party accepting the responsibilities of the property.
Now, how long do they have to to bring the property up to, I knew they could do that, but how long do they have to bring it up to code? Just depends on what we accept? 30 days? Okay.
I was going to say, they have 30 days where the city on day 31 legally has the right to go in and
Okay.
take that bulldozer and bulldoze it down.
Okay.
And then we can put it-
Unless they have abated it
Unless
or
they've done it
has
themselves.
presented the mayor or you with a signed offer along with an affidavit of condemnation, basically is what it boils down to.
Correct.
I got you.
Now, can I ask the question, if this building is condemned, what gets taken down? Is it the whole steel structure, or is it the skin, the metal skin of it?
It'd be everything, even the concrete pad.
Even the pad? 12-inch concrete pad. Ooh,
Yep, gonna be costly.
that would.
About $2 a foot, probably, isn't it?
It's more of a Dennis Cobb question.
More of a what?
My former colleague, Dennis Cobb.
Okay. Anything else, Laura? Anything you want to add, Ben?
No, sir. I think Roy accurately summarized the law. You can think of it in terms of the lien. The condemnation goes with the property no matter who.
Gotcha. Any other questions, council? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of resolution number 26 of 2020, signify by saying yes, otherwise say no. Tammy, roll call vote, please.
Waymack? Long?
Yes.
Jones?
I'm sorry, can I ask, there was a motion I thought that was on the floor someone presented, that wasn't the approval. Am I wrong, Tammy?
The motion I have is to adopt Resolution 26
Okay,
by Matt.
I'm sorry, I was just got lost in the
Oh, you're cool.
conversation. Okay, I'm going to say no. If we're voting on to approve, I'm going to say no.
Red?
Yes.
Hillenberg?
Yes.
Cope?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Passes 7-1. Okay, next item, do we have any other council old business? Okay, seeing none, we're going to continue with the agenda. Council new business, Tammy, ordinance number 3 of 2021.
An ordinance to rezone lots 22 through 27, Judkins Edition, Cabot, Lonoke County, Arkansas, from O1 to C2, amending the land use plan, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. First reading.
Mayor, the petitioner's agent contacted me, and I visited with you about this earlier today.
Yes, sir.
On this, and they have asked that we waive the second and third reading. There's no offer on it. There's no potential offer on it. This is simply for the convenience of the petitioner because she is having to travel in from out of town. That is the only reason for this. This has been through the Planning Commission. It complies with our growth plan over there in that area. There has been no objections to it. It will bring it in compliance with the surrounding areas. Again, it's not for money. It is for convenience of the petitioner.
Yes, sir, I agree. I think that whole corridor there is supposed to be C2 anyway. So, I mean, it comes in line, and this is the widow of Dr. Hawes, I believe. So she's out of town, and travel's not easy for her, I believe. Isn't that right, Ed?
That's my understanding, sir, yes.
Okay. So is that in the form of a motion, sir?
It is.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Ed, a second from James to waive the second and third reading of ordinance number 3 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Hillenberg?
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
No.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Passes 7-1.
Mayor, I make a motion, we adopt number 3 of 2021, and there will not be an emergency clause.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Ed, a second by Brandon, to adopt ordinance number 3 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red.
Yeah.
Passes 8-0. Okay, next item is ordinance 4 of 2021. Please, Tammy.
Ordinance 4 of 2021, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into agreement with Temple, Inc. to waive the competitive bidding requirements in order to enter into that agreement and for other purposes. First reading.
Thank you, Tammy. Joe, are we good? We don't need to waive it? When are they going to start to work on this is for the adaptive lighting system?
Yes, this is for the central service software section of that, and it would be, you would need to proceed with them getting all the components together that they can start putting them together.
Can you come on up just in case the council has any questions? Please, sir. A lot of people on Facebook can't hear you, so. And for those on Facebook, I just saw my text. The resolution to condemn the building was the old Crown Metal building, the yellow building on 10th Street.
Yes, this is kind of a emergency situation here.
The mic, please. Mic. We can hear you. Facebook can't. That's okay, buddy.
This is kind of a emergency situation on getting this one pushed through because we've already awarded the contract for the signal upgrade project. This is strictly the central server and software for that system.
That's going to be located at the street department.
The server itself will be at City Hall, and then everything will be shifted
I
out
didn't
through
know how you and Rogers were going to do it. But,
Yeah.
But all the TVs will be at the street shop.
Correct, yes, sir.
To
And
see every light in the city.
Roger and I have talked with Brad and David Roberts from Temple, and everything will go from there out to City Hall.
Okay. And the reason, and RDOT has approved us waiving competitive bidding, I think the letter was in there.
Yes, the letter is attached, and this was back in October of 2019. We did request to sole source this, and I've listed several reasons on that letter that's in the packet that everybody should have.
Okay.
And if there are any questions, I'll feel free to answer them the best I can. I do have Brad White and David Roberts with Temple on the Zoom call. If it gets too technical above what color red and green is, I'll have to defer to them.
Thank you, Brad White and David Roberts, for being here. Council, do you have any questions for them regarding if you would grant us any action for waiving that second and third?
I'd like to make a motion that we waive that.
Thank you, James.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second.
I got Ed beat you to it. Got a second first from James, a second from Ed to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 4 of 2021. Any discussion? And like we said, we've got Brad and David here if y'all have any questions about the Temple contract or anything else that might go along with that. Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Make a motion we adopt number 4 of 2021.
Second.
I got a motion from Ed, a second from Matt Weber to adopt ordinance number 4 of 2021. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Thank you, passes 8-0. Looks like he's all got in here also to waive competitive bidding. Is that still? Oh, that's what we entered, but about the emergency clause, I'm sorry. We need the emergency clause? Okay. Council, if anyone want to grant it?
Mr. Mayor, if we could have Joe or whoever, it is not included in the text of the ordinance itself, we have him clearly state what the emergency is.
Please come up.
Thanks for pointing that out, Ben. The need for the emergency clause is this will, like I said, we've already awarded the contract for the system upgrade section of it. This is for the server software. By doing the emergency clause, Temple can immediately start putting everything together component-wise and getting all this started immediately.
Mayor, I accept Joe's explanation of the emergency, and it will be reflected in the minutes. I make a motion we adopt the emergency clause.
I got a motion from Ed, a second by James to adopt ordinance 4 of 2021, the emergency clause to ordinance 4 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of adopting the emergency clause, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Thank you, passes 8-0. Thank you, Joe. Next item, resolution number 1 of 2021, please, Tammy.
Resolution number 1 of 2021, a resolution approving Cabot Parks and Recreation to enter into agreement with Half Associates for engineering design services for the Cabot Regional Park, authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to execute any documents needed to effectuate the agreement and for other purposes.
If anyone has any questions, Travis is here. This is basically the Parks and Rec information we talked about at our last meeting, our work session, and this is just the legislation that goes with that. Any action?
Accept resolution number 1 of 2021.
I second
Second.
that.
It's a tie between, I'll give it to Michael. James Reed moved to accept resolution number 1 of 2021. Michael Jones seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call, please. Tammy?
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Thank you, passes 8-0. Next item, resolution number 2 of 2021, please, Tammy.
Resolution number 2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into agreement with Half Associates for engineering design services for Mountain Springs Road drainage improvements and for other purposes.
Any action?
Make a motion we adopt resolution number 2 of 2021.
Second.
I got a motion by Ed, a second by Stephen Redd to adopt resolution number 2 of 2021. Any discussion?
Mayor, Joe?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, could Joe kind of go over where this is going to be and what the issues are out there?
Yes, sir, of course. Should have sat up front tonight, Joe.
He needs the steps, Mayor.
Thanks
sure
for pointing out
does.
the obvious there, Ed. This is on Mountain Springs Road, right around Autry Lane. The north side of Mountain Springs Road, the ditch is eroded so bad over the years past that it's actually caused the road surface to get about 8 to 10 inches from about a 2.5 to 3 foot drop. It's a tight corner as it is. This is going to allow us to put underground drainage in around that curve and widen the road surface. It's real critical for school buses. I've seen a couple of them get close to the edge. This is a two-phase project because of budgetary reasons. The first half, and then hopefully next year, if budget allows, we'll get the downstream half.
How much is this part? I can't remember.
Brian, with half is on here. We looked at this originally as one project, and it was well over $200,000 estimate. This part here should be in the $150,000 to $160,000 range because it's the most critical and most extensive part of the project.
So basically, it's for safety and drainage.
Yes, absolutely.
And Mayor, this is over by the hospital, correct? Was that in that
No,
curve?
This is over by Mount Springs Elementary, right?
It's, Stephen, if you're going up James towards Mountain Springs, if you'll take that veer to the left on the Mountain Springs, it's right around that corner. It's,
oh, it's down that far. Okay.
I believe the 500 or 600 block of Mountain Springs Road, I believe. It's basically, it's almost exactly across the street from where Autry Lane is.
Yeah, so as soon as you take the curve.
This is for the engineering. Any best guess on timeline and when it could actually start being improved, turning the dirt?
But Brian and I have talked about this. I am not going to begin construction until school's up for the summer. For obvious reasons.
And I'm sure that you're planning on having it done before school starts. I mean, it's a summer project, period.
Yes, time-wise on construction, it should not be a long, drawn-out project. It should be and I'm going to jinx myself, it should be an in-and-out project.
When this is completed, could you get an estimate and go back with the mayor with that? And if he sees fit, come back and see if it's something maybe we could do later this year or whatever, so we'll know what's going on with it.
Yes, and this was included in the 2021 budget for this segment of the project. I'm hoping that we get good bids on this, that we might be able to include the second half. It's very unlikely, but we can always hope.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Any other questions for Joe? Okay, seeing none, any other council discussion? I got someone raising their hand back there. Oh, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Are you? Oh, yeah, come on up. Yeah, of course. I know what you're doing next. I was like, whoa, 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 wait a minute.
My name is Craig Hamaker, and I'm not here for the drainage issue. I'm here for something separate. However, my family does live within the area. I transfer through that area almost on a daily basis. Everything that was said by the gentleman in front of me is correct. I have seen that area. We've lived in the area roughly 25 years, and I've been through that area 25 years, and I have seen it erode over time. I've frequently in my mind stated that something needs to be done as the person. I think one thing that should be presented to this council, the longer you wait, the more expensive it will get to fix, is my humble opinion on it. I have no engineering. I have minor abilities within landscaping and so on. but the erosion in that area is excessive under large thunderstorms and what. But if you wait on this for a year or two, I guarantee you the price will be up higher. That's all I wanted to state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I apologize. No, you're okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Any other new business? Well, that's all we have on the agenda for the new business. Next is community input, if you'd like to come up. I know we have one special guest tonight from the Girl Scouts, and I'm going to let her go first. Then if anybody else wants to come up, please do, and state your name and your business. Thanks so much.
Hello, my name is Samantha Hammaker. I am representing Girl Scouts, and I'm here to make a community service announcement. According to Fox Business, 200 million boxes were sold in the U.S. in the year 2019. Now, if you ask me, that's a lot of cookies. But what is the actual purpose of selling all these cookies? Girl Scout cookies are cookies sold by Girl Scouts in the United States to raise funds to support Girl Scout councils and individual troops, stated by the official Girl Scout website. But it's not all about raising money for the troop. Girl Scouts also learns valuable life skills while going door to door selling these delicious treats. For example, Rasmussen College writes, Girl Scouts learn goal setting, interpersonal skills, business ethics, strategic thinking, money managing, accepting rejection, and much more. We as Girl Scouts encourage our community to support local girls by purchasing cookies. You can check out personal online feeds, order digital cookies, order directly from a Girl Scout, or visit a cookie booth with many locations around town. Due to COVID-19, cookie booths may look different. It may include drive-through sales. So come get your favorite cookie today. Thank you.
Ms. Hammaker, I have one question for you. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but how many people actually reject Girl Scout cookies?
None I've encountered so far.
I know, you mentioned, in your sales, you get rejected. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said no to a Girl Scout cookie. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any with you?
Yeah, where can we purchase them?
See,
That's
next time you're going to have to bring cookies.
Cookie deal in the parking lot.
Right. Hey, Ms. Amber. Is this another one of your star pupils?
This is, Sammy, she's in Miss Amelia's troop back there. Miss Amelia's on our service team this year. So we don't have cookies on hand yet. They will be coming to Cabot. February 10th is our estimated date. And it's a huge, huge thing. The fire department always lets us use one of their fire stations for us to do a drive-through cookie pickup for all the leaders. So that way they don't get rained on. Cookie booths start that weekend. There will be less because there's troops who don't want to do it this year because of COVID-19. We are asking that everybody wears a mask when they go to the booth, and the girls will all have on masks as well. And they are all $5 a box. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
February 10th, right?
Yes.
Mark your calendars. Good Valentine's Day presents right there. I bet, Stephen, how many boxes are you going to get your wife?
I think she's good, buddy.
All right, anyone else? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, could I say one thing?
Go ahead, sir.
I know there's a lot of confusion anytime there's a change in provider of service by the city, more specifically the waste contract that recently was changed.
Yes, sir.
With that new contract, I think this new contract gives an opportunity for Cabot to potentially be one of the greenest cities in Arkansas.
I agree with you.
And I would just really urge folks to take the time to become familiar with those instructions that were provided to you with the cans when they were brought out. I personally have seen a number of folks using the yellow lid containers for trash. Folks, that's not it. It won't get picked up. That is for recycling. So please, please read those instructions and start utilizing that, and good things could happen.
Go ahead.
So along those same lines, Mr. Mayor, if there are individuals who did not receive those instructions for whatever reason, or is wanting more information about which cans to use, what materials and items are accepted, where can they go to receive that info?
It's on our Facebook page. Matthew has mentioned it several times. Miss Laura or Public Works, call Public Works, 843-4819. They tend to help everybody out. Stubby's been great, very responsive. He's been working well with the mayor's office and my staff and my administration, so thank you, Stubby. Also, to let everybody know, I don't know when in the spring, but we're bringing back the cleanup days, either in the spring or the fall, so I know we hadn't had that since before I became mayor, and Matt's going to have to help us out on that since he was the guru, but Matthew?
We can make it happen.
Okay. So we'll announce a date when we figure out where we can get everybody in for all the oils and the tires and the paint cans and all the stuff that we have to separate.
Yeah, Mayor,
I'm
I'd
sorry.
also like to comment too. I've had several positive comments on the change as far as, the punctual, not seeing the trash in their road. So
yes, sir.
Just great comments so far on my way.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. Yes, Miss Amber.
I'm really thankful for the new trash cans, but I did want to let everybody know that the imprinted instructions on top of the yellow can don't really quite match what they're accepting, what they're actually accepting. And that's as far as the steel cans go and the plastics. It says that they accept 1 through 7. They actually don't accept all of them. And then same with the steel cans. Because I called them because the list that they attached separately to the trash can contradicted the lid. So that's imprinted on it. So
Okay.
just want to let everybody know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll make a revised post on that. Thank you, Amber. Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, do I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
We got a motion from Michael, a second from Stephen, did you say?
Yes, sir.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, adjourned at 7:48.